What's going on, everyone? Another day, another install. The last couple videos we had the tag mount relocation, rear bumper, inner fenders. What could be next? Let's go look and see what's in the other boxes that we have. Yes, we have a front bumper. But for the front bumper that we chose for the JL is the Motobilt Hammer series with the skid plate. The Hammer's still a winch ready bumper. It just sits on top of it. Also, for our honeymoon trip around the country, we're going to want to bring our winch with us, since a lot of the stuff we're going to be doing is solo, unless we meet some awesome people, which I know in the Jeep community you always do. But we're going to bank on us being solo, so we have to have a way to self-recover. The Hammer is going to help us do that. So let's get this thing unpackaged and take it down and get her prepped for paint. Coming down to one of the last parts that we're installing. This sat up in that little storage room for a few days, kind of uncovered and bare steel humidity. Start to get more surface rust. You can get the WD and green Scotch-Brite, hit those surface rust areas, and it'll take it right off, no problem. But I looked over and I had my little orbital sander and a 40 grit pad. 40 grit. So I just wanted to, since in my other videos I only use the Scotch-Brite and WD, which again works awesome, but you're also introducing more oil to the surface, more that you have to degrease. So without introducing more oil, you can sand. So for this video, I was going to show just how quickly you can sand to remove some surface rust. Just like that, those two small spots of surface rust are gone. So it is way less physical manual labor to use this, and it does etch the surface a little bit better, but do what you have to work with, and the important part is to make sure there is no surface rust and it is degreased before paint. What I use to degrease, just some simple carb cleaner. You can use brake cleaner, acetone, alcohol, all that good stuff. I just hose her down, and then just come by and wipe the grease off and get it in your cut, and it stings really bad. It's the next day. I got the bumper all painted up and let it dry and cure overnight, and then all day when I was at work. So just got home from work. Lauren just got home from work. Now I'm gonna continue and let's get this stock ugly plastic front bumper removed, and we'll get our new Motobilt Hammer bumper on. First step in getting this stock front bumper off is going to be getting this plastic skid plate off. There's two bolts. I'm going to say either 8 or a 10 millimeter. I will find out here in a second. And then underneath we have plastic retaining clips all the way across the bottom. They just kind of pop down and separate, I think. I was just using a flathead screwdriver and popping them down. There. Yeah, you just pry them out. It's physically not hard. It's hard to film and do it. They look just like this. So that is it for the lower plastic skid. It's just the 8 plastic clips and the 2 8 millimeter bolts, and it comes right off. Next, before we forget, we're going to come over to the passenger side, and if you have factory fog lights, your connector for your fog lights is right here on the frame. There's a little plastic keeper that keeps it onto the frame. There we go. Yeah, slide it forward towards the bumper. Just slide off your plastic keeper, and just push down and separate. So now, when we go to pull the bumper off, we aren't going to be getting hung up by the wiring. Bam! The nuts for the bumper are an 18 millimeter, and like I said, there's four on each side. It was an 18 millimeter. Did it change on me? No, I need an 18 deep. Oh my gosh. I want power tools. So after you get done fighting those 8 nuts that hold the bumper on, double check that you have your fog light connector unhooked. And then it should be as easy as grabbing the tow hook, pulling out. So I'm going to pull straight out. Yeah. Pull straight out, and then off comes the bumper. Our new Hammer series Motobilt bumper is fog light capable, so we're going to take these out and put them in that. So we have to disassemble this whole factory bumper to get the wiring harness and the fog lights out. I didn't really show how to disassemble the front bumper because it's pretty straightforward. There's a bunch of little 7 millimeter bolts and a bunch of plastic push pins. So you just got to start taking them all apart and the bumper will come apart. I just wanted to show what we were hunting for is this wiring harness. So that we're going to reuse in our new bumper because it has the plugs, both plugs for the factory fog lights. I was losing light, so I squeezed the front end of the Jeep in. But now that we have the fog lights out of the factory bumper, we can go in and let's go over the hardware for our new bumper. We have 4 nuts for each side and 4 washers for each side. We will be reusing the 2 bolts that came out of that metal plate that was here. So the 2 bolts, one here and other one here. So we will reuse those for our skid plate. And speaking of skid plate, our hardware that comes with it are the 2 bolts, nuts, and washers. And what those are for bolting the top of the skid to the bottom of the bumper, here and here. But first, I want to get my fog lights put in and get the wiring all cleaned up inside before we go ahead and mount it onto the Jeep. Motobilt does also supply new hardware for your fog lights as well, and they are just a 1/8 Allen. You have 8 of those, and the bumper already has the nut certs for them.
Shuffling songs by Damoon Jones on Amazon Music. By the way, I can...
Alrighty, I got the fog lights mounted into the bumper, and I just routed the factory wiring harness and looped it around the lights and then zip tied it solid so it doesn't go anywhere. So now, with my lovely assistant here.
There was a moth that flew in my hair.
Oh. We're going to try to put this bumper on. And by try, I mean put the bumper on. The new hardware for the Motobilt bumper are 5/8. So you have 5/8 nylon nuts and the washers. Something I forgot is this, I'm going to say frame plate, stiffening plate. You can see in here, it takes up a bit of the hole there, so the new studs on the Motobilt bumper won't come through. So I'm just gonna take this plate off on both sides of each frame horn. You can either do that, but if you want it there for rigidity, I mean, it's pretty thin, I don't know. But you could just wallow out those holes. I'm just gonna take it off. This is all the plates were. Now that those four are removed, now we can put the bumper on. All it is to bolt that up is just those 8 bolts. The skid plate bolts to the 2 tabs. 1 tab here, 1 tab here, with the 5/8 supplied bolts to the this tab and this tab, and then the hardware that we're going to reuse goes on this bracket back into our factory location with the factory hardware.
I see you. Oh.
Guys, you want to see it? You want to see it? Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Okay guys, so just like our last video, it's 5 months later.
5 months later.
Here we are in December.
Yeah. But it's a good thing, because now you guys just saw the whole install for this front bumper. We can give you a quick review of how it's been for us for the past 5 months, and if there's anything we like, don't like about it.
I don't really know what we don't like about it.
I was gonna say,
but
the bumper is awesome. The bumper's great. It's held up great.
As you can see, we mounted a nice fancy winch.
Yep, like I said earlier in the video, the Hammer series front bumper is winch ready, where the Crusher series from Motobilt has the recessed winch. So you can mount a winch to both. The only thing you need is just this extra Fairlead mount. So Motobilt sells this universal Fairlead mount, and on our next video, we're gonna show the whole install of this winch and kind of how this universal mount isn't quite universal for this winch. So this winch is the brand new VR Evo 10S. When we got it, it was 2 days after release to the public. In the next video, I talk about some of the issues we had mounting it, but we got it taken care of, and
Yep.
It worked for us.
Just fine.
Yeah, perfectly.
Actually, way more than just fine. Like, it literally saved our life twice.
And we were able to rescue, or not rescue, but help other
Yeah,
people
we helped
out.
other people with the winch so far.
And all that will be in future videos coming up.
So let me give you guys a close look, and we'll show you guys in detail what it looks like now. As you can see, it's getting a little rusty just from rock chips. We did, like we said, put 7,000 miles just on our trip alone with this Jeep. Just over 17 days, 7,000 miles. We now currently have over 12,000 miles total on this Jeep.
We put the bumper on the Jeep before we had less than 1,000 miles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we've had the bumper on before we went to Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
So we probably have over 11,000 miles on this bumper.
So, 11,000 miles with Rust-Oleum spray paint. And this is what it looks like.
So
Not bad at all.
it's not too bad. And this is the whole point we use the spray paint. So all these rock chips that, you know, are starting to rust, we can touch up. We can pull the bumper off, sand it down, respray it. We also, you know, may have bashed it off a rock here, maybe slid down a rock
skid
here,
plate.
maybe bashed another rock or so here, bounced it off a few things.
I mean, guys, we were in Moab with this Jeep. We were wheeling in freaking Moab. And on some huge boulders in Colorado.
Yeah, so it's held up actually really good for just off-the-shelf Rust-Oleum spray paint. And I mean, you know the bumper's gonna hold up, but yeah. We have nothing to
We
complain
are
about.
super, super happy with this.
This thing is amazing.
Yeah, amazing, amazing stuff, Motobilt. Thank you so much.
Man, it looks just
Sexy as fuck. So that is our mini product review on the Motobilt front hammer bumper. Don't forget to head to motobilt.com to grab these products.
It'll be linked in the description below also. If you guys have any questions about the install, maybe something we didn't cover or kind of blew by it really fast, just leave a comment below and we'll do our best to get back to you as soon as possible.
And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want to keep seeing our videos as our channel's trying to grow.
Stay tuned for the next video where we're going to show how we installed this
Winch.
nice Warren VR Evo 10S.
It got very dirty. Cody wasn't happy.
Yeah, that was a fun day. But if you want to see all that, make sure you do subscribe so you can see our upcoming videos here of our honeymoon trip.
But there's going to be some definitely way better videos of just installs coming, guys. We're just trying to get the installs knocked out of the way. That way we can get on to bigger and better things
And
for you.
actually, but just like anything, you gotta build it so you can use it. Thank you guys for tuning into The Altered Life.
Thanks for all the support. Don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye guys.
Take care. Bye.